Remember, we were promised that if that election was conducted to be free and fair, accepted by international observers and local observers, that we would be given national honors. So my colleagues were also working hard as Nigerians. So when, according to our effort, you knew all the problems, all the restrictions, in spite of all that, June 12 came. The election was conducted, it was peaceful, materials were distributed all over Nigeria, promptly in all difficult terrain because of arrangement and logistic preparation we put in place. So when the results started coming in, June 13, 14, in fact it was to be concluded around June 17, 18. The other party, NRC, had even congratulated SDP for winning. You know, suddenly there was a letter served on me by Commissioner of Police that we should cease forthwith in releasing the result. I summoned on June 16 emergency meeting of the commission. All the results had come in with the exception of that of Taraba, which the resident electoral commissioner from Delta, Professor Sada, was on his way to bring. We would have released the result about June 17. So they said, stop. I was served. In fact, I was called in a meeting of National Defense and Security Council and said, would you release this result without knowing? I said, that's the law. There was no provision of the highest ruling military body to vet the result. The law says that the result should be announced at each level. The polling station level, ward headquarters, local government, state, and finally their conclusion at headquarters. In fact, almost every person, owing to the communication system we put in place, could even collate to know that Abiola had won. Now, with that, my commission met and we decided that we would challenge that ruling by court, Abuja High Court, because it's Commissioner of Police that served it. And when the next step was, I was summoned at the level of the National Defense Security and Defense Council.
Headed by Babangida?
Babangida and Abacha was prominent. They said, okay, that a committee headed by Abacha should find a solution to the problem. I said, how do we find a problem? We should be allowed to conclude what we started. They said, Abacha. In that committee, I'm quoting names. Abacha was in it. Nyako. Nyako was in it. General Aliyu Gusso was in it. David Mark was in it. Was the Minister of Communication. I was in it. Secretary of the Commission, Director of Legal Services was in it. Professor Deria, National Commissioner representing River State. We met in Abacha. When we met in Abacha's house, guest house in Abuja, he set another subcommittee, including myself, Akpambo, late now, Akilu, the Secretary of the Commission, I think one other advisor-in-law in the State House. When we got at that subcommittee level, I told them, gentlemen, there is nothing for us to meet. The law is clear. Elections have been conducted. results have been collected. The only one remaining is that of Taraba, and he had come along with it. Please allow us to conclude. We are a technical body. We are not politicians. In any case, if you don't want us to release the result, you should call Abiola and Tofa, or negotiate with Abiola that Abiola was the winner. Well, you know, the military personnel in it were afraid. They said, okay, you report, you are the chairman of the commission. We went back to Abacha's guest house, and I reported, well, sir, the law that allowed us to conclude this election made no provision for this technical body, for your committee. You should allow us to conclude the result with that of Taraba and announce it, or you call in Abiola and negotiate with him. He shouted on me, who are you to tell us what to do? You are not a member of National Defense and Security Council. You are not. The council and the court decided you should not conduct the election. You went ahead and conducted the election, that it was illegal. You will recall, throughout Abacha's regime, his Minister for Information regarded the election as illegal. He said, well, you are not a member. Go to Aso Rock, where all of us will now take a decision. What will happen? Call all your national commissioners. That was, it's a military regime. So, because many people didn't know what, so I was to call my secretary to invite all my national commissioners to come to Aso Rock. It was David Mark. He was then the Minister of Communication, who called, used mobile. That's when the mobile was starting. He called myself, Andrew Mana. I'm mentioning them. Called them. You all wanted at Aso Rock. We went there. Here was a full meeting.
Which date was that?
Was around 18 yes, all this 18 June. When we got there, Babangida said, NEC, National Electoral Commission, what is your position on this election? I answered, I was the boss, leadership of NEC stops with me. I said, sir, allow us just 2 minutes so that it will not be Humphrey Nwosu's decision. It will be that of National Electoral Commission. He said, okay, 2 minutes. We went to one of the rooms. Said, gentlemen, ladies and Eruku was a lady National Commission. We don't have anything to do with politics of this. They should allow us to conclude and announce whoever did not like the outcome should go to tribunal. That's the provision of the law. You know, we were talking of institutions. Allow institutions to work. Whoever didn't like it should go to tribunal. They said, you are reporting. Okay. We came out. Sir, this is the decision of the commission. Allow us to conclude this election and announce the result. And that we will challenge that letter, court decision, which Commissioner of Police served on me, that we should stop announcing it. We will go to Federal Court of Appeal, Kaduna Division. So he said, okay, you people are on your own.
Babangida said that.
The decision of there. He said, well, you know, in all this I've mentioned them. So you went to court, not by the Attorney General of the Federation should have championed that position, but he did not. It was Director of Legal Services in NEC, Bello. He's still alive. No, Buhari Bello. I mentioned in my book, went to Kaduna Court of Appeal, filed the papers. We submitted all the results, including that of Taraba, showing that Abiola won the election. Abiola was represented by Eke Ajayi. Tofa was represented. The court held first sitting. His Justice Oke Achike mentioned it. Oke Achike, late, may his soul rest in peace, was the chairman. He was ready to conclude. He ordered Abuja High Court to submit all matters relating to the election, all the results, and they were submitted to his court for accelerated hearing and decision for June 25th, 1993. Please. Now, this was done. Abiola was represented. He knew all that. And when you submit something to court, it becomes public document. Is it not? All the results were submitted to the court, appeal division, headed by Oke Achike, showing that Abiola won. Abiola knew. Why did Nigerian press not pick it from? Now, when this was to be done, June 25th, the military quickly dissolved my commission on June 23rd.
But one quick question.
Yes.
That there was a pronouncement you made that this election is inconclusive.
Because
Definitely.
the result was no.
Which date was that?
I can't quite remember, but it may have been in the book. The date, the inconclusive, that we were not allowed to announce it. It became a subject of court dispute, and all the results, as shown in this book, no other result, as shown in the court, submitted before June 20, before my commission was dissolved. All the election results were submitted. It became public document. And when my commission was dissolved on June 23, we were sacked.
Where did you go next?
What will I do when I'm no longer chairman?
Where did you go?
No, I was in Nigeria.
You went back to Enugu?
We went back to Enugu. I went, first when it was annulled,
Was there any time you were threatened physically, bodily harm?
No, I wasn't, to tell you the truth. Yeah. No person harmed me. Okay. But throughout Abacha's regime,
everybody was keeping a low profile.
Thank you. When June 12th is coming close, some police will around my
neighborhood.
Yes.
Just to make sure that you don't make any pronouncement.
Yes. Because we were dissolved. Because if I had made a pronouncement, I was no longer chairman national election. The commission was no longer the appointed Oya.
So you're saying for public record today,
yes,
that Abiola won that election?
I am saying it. And it's in my book. I've said this is not the first time. Right. And in all the documents we submitted as far back as June 20, 1993, and which we submitted by Buhari Bello, Director of Legal Services, not Attorney General of the Federation, to tell you the extent I went.
But the question people ask, and why your book was a little controversial, was the fact that it seems to be always protective of...
No. Why I did Abacha? I didn't protect Abacha. What happened is that when on June 11, I appeared before the meeting of National Defense and Security Council, when it became obvious they didn't want election because they were divided. Abacha group, Abacha wanted to, and you could see it thereafter when Babangida stepped aside and Shonika was met. He pushed, Shonika were meant to resign. Abacha took over. So this indicated that the military was divided.
Were you in touch with Babangida after this decision, after your organization was dissolved? Or have you been in touch with him in such a way as to compare notes, like when he allowed things to go?
No. He even, because he knew all that I said in that book was truth. I mentioned name. I mentioned, Nigeria. No one, when you mention name, if it's a lie, they will challenge you. I've mentioned David Mark again, about people who invited us to come to Asoro. I mentioned Nyako. He's still living. I mentioned all the people. Bello, Director of Legal Service. Unfortunately, Akwambo is no more, from my own part of the country. He didn't believe in what, But Bello, from Kebbi, there were really some Nigerians, because who felt if we allowed the process, because we believed in the two-party structure. We believed that the election was free and fair. We believed that Nigerians, even NEC, had accepted the result. We believed it had allowed, Abiola would have had his 8 years, another person would have, and the institution would grow. I talked here about institution building. It is when you grow, have sense of mission, you learn by experience, you conduct it, you hand over, and there can be no substitute to parties that start from grassroots and is open and is funded by government. No one man will bring his money to decide, I'm going to endorse, I'm going to do. See all the endorsement in Nigeria.
The question I was trying to raise was,